everybody, it's ALB, and today I'm here to talk to you about how you can like something while still being critical of it. This is really important, and it's hard for a lot of people. Because sometimes when we like something a lot, it kind of, in a way, becomes part of us. And people become very attached and very protective. And know that when I say people, I'm including myself. I totally do this. It's hard not to when we like something so much, whether it be a movie or a TV show or a comic. It's really hard because when things are really powerful or important or even pull us out of dark times, they start to shape who we are. So it's totally natural for us to start to idolize that thing and treat it with a certain amount of seriousness and reverence. But realistically, nothing that infallible exists in media. Nothing is perfect despite what inner urges we might have to exclaim otherwise would say. Everything has room for improvement. But when we get super invested in whatever that thing may be, sometimes we can be less interested in recognizing and discussing its faults. Especially so when someone we perceive as outside of the group of fans is critical of it. And I totally sympathize with that, and I think that is, to a certain point, linked to why some people get really upset about legitimate feminist criticism of things like video games and comics and certain industries. And I mean, yeah, it's sexist behavior. Let's just recognize that. But I think it comes down to considering that person making the critique as outside of the group, regardless of the validity of that. And because they feel like the person is outside of the group, they feel like they shouldn't be allowed to criticize it. And it's hard, you know, because when you feel like someone doesn't understand something the way that you understand it, it can feel like their criticism is coming from like a skin-deep, surface-level kind of place. And you want them to understand it the way you understand it, because certainly if they did, they'd feel the same way about it that you do, right? Now we all know that, no, that's not true, but you can see where the behavior comes from. And unfortunately, when people personify media they enjoy as this inarguable perfect entity, they can become very hostile when others try to criticize it. In my opinion, that is sort of the root of why discussing media we enjoy on the internet becomes difficult. Because it's really hard for people to come from a place that in no way involves ego. Again, myself included. And on the other side of that, there are people who are so consumed with being critical of things that it makes them unhappy to see other people enjoying it. Those are two very different sides of the spectrum, each of which making communicating difficult at times. Especially with text-based communication, it can be really tricky to understand someone's intent and inflection with what they're trying to say. And that's why I really enjoy YouTube, because I can say things exactly as I mean them, and I can hope and try and pray that they're taken the way I mean them to. And they're not always, but that's just how the internet works, I guess. And I'm okay with the idea that not everybody's going to agree with me, obviously, but I like to think that I am fair and well-balanced. At least I try to be. We all bring different life experiences to the table, so we all have a different scale of what's okay to watch or read or listen to. So that's also important to keep in mind. A lot of this boils down to an idea called cognitive dissonance, which if you've ever taken a high school English class before, you're probably familiar with, but if you haven't, or if you need a refresher, cognitive dissonance is the idea that your brain will struggle to happily hold two extremely conflicting thoughts. And so, in order to maintain balance, one idea will be erased or changed. Because our brains are constantly seeking out peace. We need for things to make sense, at least to us. Confusion and chaos is very unsettling and causes us anxiety and anger. So as humans, we're just constantly trying to make sense of ourselves and our surroundings, and that's just part of the human experience. So maybe one thought would be, I really like this show. And maybe another thought would be, this show glorifies a lot of elements that I disagree with on a moral level. So your mind is struggling to equate these two ideas in your head. These two ideas don't fit nicely together, and they can make you feel weird or guilty about enjoying what you like. So sometimes that can lead people to go to a place where they start to deny that these issues exist at all, to satisfy the brain's need to be at peace with itself. So basically, in the struggle to fit these two ideas, sometimes one will get totally lopped off to accommodate room for the other. And it's complicated, you know? You mean you don't like me? No, of course I like you. It's because I like you that I don't want to be with you. It's a complicated emotion. But you can like something while still recognizing that it has a lot of problems or that it needs to be improved upon. And if someone has something to say about that thing, whether it be a TV show or a movie, it's not a personal attack on you. And this also extends to celebrities. With today's easy access to celebrities' social media via Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, oftentimes people we admire or look up to might do things that disappoint us or things we might not agree with. And a lot of people have the immediate reaction to defend that person without questioning the behavior. And a lot of people have the reaction to start attacking the person. But you can like someone while still acknowledging that they have the capacity to do shitty things, because we all do. We all mess up. And everyone has a different scale of what kind of behavior crosses the line for them. You can like someone or something while still being a critical fan. And I think if you like a thing without being critical of it at all, or being aware of what you might be subconsciously absorbing from it, then that's not really a healthy thing. It's important to really try and digest what you're consuming. And I think a lot of people do this, which is excellent. I really want to encourage you to continue to do this. Remember that advertisements and other media messages have been very carefully crafted with an intent to send a very specific message. So ask yourself if you might be inadvertently reinforcing negative media messages through the way you interact with yourself and your peers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!